Okay, so now let's see if we can do some more with this matrix form. And so we have this my list 4 is this really impressive list, so let's make sure it's executed, and there it is. Okay. And we can do a matrix form of it. Okay, so it is each row has 2 lists in it, so it's a special list. But then we see we have this flatten my list. Okay. So let's try flatten with something that's a little easier for us to understand, which is flatten my matrix 2. Okay, so that's the one with 3 rows of 3. Let's see what happens with that. And there you go. So it then changed everything and just had that everything that's in there. And so then you sort of say, well, what if I said length of this? And what if I spelled it right? And then let's go to the end and add. So we try that. So we put, and there you see, oh, okay, so I have these 9 elements. Remember length when you didn't flatten. So if you don't flatten it, remember what do we get then? Then we get a length of 3, because it's just the three rows. But if we flatten it, we get out, it counts everything. Can we put extra things in a list? So we can use it's a nice verb, append. Okay. Now you kind of wonder, well, can I append to my matrix? So remember I have my matrix 2. And I say I want to append to it, so I say a comma. And what do I want to append? Well, let's see if we can do, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What if we say, how about 10, comma, 11, comma, 12? I decided I want to have a 4th row. Is that possible? Okay, so it looks like it did that okay. And then I say, well, can I still do the matrix form? Okay. So I still do the matrix form with my matrix 2. And interestingly, it doesn't seem like it made a change to it. Okay, so matrix 2 didn't change. Okay, so what we want to try then is, let's see if we have to, when we do append, we're not saving it, so let's save it to matrix 3, and let's see what happens. So now we say, okay, did we put it into matrix 3? And we say, okay, let's do matrix form of matrix 3, and well, it's not my matrix, right? So let me make my name right there. My matrix 3. Okay, so put it into my matrix 3, and now we say, okay, do our matrix form, and look at it added that on there. Okay, so it is possible to append, but what if we didn't do it right? What if we did this? We did my matrix, and we did 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we went up here, and we unfortunately didn't follow the right. Okay, so we got this guy is way too long, right? Now we try and do my matrix form, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it says, we'll be broad-minded, we'll let you put that in. So you've been seeing we've been already doing a little bit of this assignment. So this is just that point. So when we append my list, do we change my list or not? So unless you have that equal sign there to assign it, it doesn't make it a permanent change. Okay, so that's what we were talking about. Okay, so we do this big list of 20 measurements. So let's say that we're looking at, well, probably not average score on tests, probably not height. That might be the average measurement in centimeters of people's shoes, okay? And we're measuring to 1/10. And so we have this nice ability then to, within my variable, to filter out, okay? So this is one that we want to, this select statement. So we're going to get some practice on this. This is a great thing to practice. Okay? And so you say, okay, so from my variable, select everything that's greater than 18. All right, so, and we say, well, can we do something else? Well, let's do this, less than or equal to. And notice I pressed less than or equal to, and it changed it into what I want. And so when we do that, it said it didn't like that. Non-atomic expression. So that's strange. So if we try and go back to what we had, and so we go back and we say, well, we have that greater than or equal to, and so now we say, well, okay, maybe I have to put in a special character. So I look and I say, okay, I'll put in a math special character, and I'll put in the less than or equal to. Okay? And let's see if it's happier then. No, it's not, right? Why is that? Okay, so we go back. So we say I've got greater than or equal to 18 and when I evaluate that, oh, it doesn't like that either. So now I go back even more. So the number is returned only when true value is found. Oh, but there's a whole bunch less than 18. So I don't know if did I mess up? And, well, maybe it has to be a space in there. I'm not sure what to do with this. So look back in the original, and it seems to prefer the greater than or equal. But when I type it in, I don't get that anymore. And I try and evaluate, and it says it just doesn't like it. Let's see if it'll accept equals. So we're just trying now to just see, can we get anything that'll be slot number 1 is protected. Okay, so sometimes when you have this happen, what you do is you just say, well, let's see if I can type it over again. You know, so there's something, some character that you can't see. So we say, okay, select. And we're calling it my variable. So I have that, comma. And we'll put in the pound sign. And we're going to say a greater than and an equal. We'll say 18, and we have the ampersand, and we close it off. Non-atomic expression except at position 1 and select. Well, let's see if we can figure out here. Okay, so in this one we say, okay, we only want to select things that have a particular name. So let's see if this one works for us. And so we see nothing is working, right? So none of our select statements are working. And they worked before. Okay, so they worked when we did them before. So not sure what's happening here. Let's see if the position one works. Okay, so so position, it suggests that my organisms maybe didn't execute right. So let's try again. Let's try executing my organisms. Okay, and then we'll put in the beginning, let's put teachers as organisms there. Okay. And let's see if we can add teachers as organisms. And so there it is. So we've got teachers in our set of my organisms. Okay. And now, let's see if we can find teachers in my organism. Okay, so there's, I want to find teachers. It's at position 1. All right. And let's see if we can select it in there. Okay, so we can. Okay, and so let's even try putting teachers in at a couple places. So sometimes you'll have a data set like that where, say you ask, what team do people like, and so some people say Blue Devils, and some people say Tar Heels. So we're going to put teachers in twice now, and we have that in my organisms, and we see teachers in there twice. Okay, so we say, okay, let's select it. When we select it, we see it twice. So it's teachers, teachers. And so now we say, well, where is teachers? And we say, oh, it's in 2 spots. Okay, so we have it 2 spots in the list. Okay, but we didn't get our select my variable to work. Okay, so then we think, okay, well, let's put some extra variables in here. So we'll put in 1.0, comma 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So we put some extra values in, and we say, okay, did that work? Yeah. So we put some extra values in, and we say, all right, we'll select from my variable. Okay, so we really want to get this to work, right? So what if we just say, and we don't put any criteria? What happens then? More inputs needed. Okay. So then we say, okay, now does it have to be pound? Okay, always remember the ampersand follows the criteria. Okay, so we have our pound sign. So, another thing it could be is that maybe we have to insert our pound sign. So we go up to common and we say, is it here? Not a Greek letter. Know that you'd think of it as a math character. You might. Typesetting. General operators. Programming. Technical. Symbols. How about a symbol? Yeah. So there's a. So is it a sharp? Well, it's not as sharp, is it? It's a pound sign, so that's interesting. So it's really this sign, the number sign. But I don't think it's that, is it? Could be. Well, there are some things greater than 18. How about greater than 1? That's strange. It's not giving us an error, but it's not doing anything with it. Okay. And so what if we just give a regular pound sign from a keyboard? It's above the 3. Okay, so that looks a little different. Oh, now suddenly it works. Okay, so now it works. We get our things greater than 1. And let's see if we can do less than 1 as well. And nothing less than 1. How about less than 2? We should find the ones that we added with less than 2. There we go. Okay, so I had to retype the pound sign. That's a strange one. Okay, and so can we do this? Okay, so we retype our pound sign. It doesn't like that. Oh, but it would be an equals, I guess. Is anything equal 18? No. Okay. How about anything equal 1.1? Yeah, so there's one that equals 1.1. Okay, so that's it, and then we'll do our exercises. So finish.